TikTok has it out for me. I keep trying to make this a 10-minute thing and then it does a 60-second and I can't do it in 60 seconds. So, here we go. Just talk to you about some of the things that are working well in this space, as well as some of the things that we could have done better. Firstly, tiny houses can struggle in cold climates. It's -30 outside right now and we're struggling. This dehumidifier saves us every year at this time. Keep that bitch cranked. I have this Lunos unit, which basically just pushes and pulls air in and out of the house through a vent here. I do think that unit helps keep the air in here a little bit more balanced. The dehu was important and we didn't learn that until we moved in. We have a gas range, which, propane. We have this unit here, which is just like the range fan. And we were a little bit silly, and we built our house a little too tight without a proper air recovery system for when we have this fan on. I had a friend who came and looked at our house, and he decided to build his own, and what he ended up doing was actually building like this sort of air recovery setup within his kitchen. So I don't actually know how that all worked, but I would just suggest looking into that because the envelope of our house is so tightly sealed. When you turn a fan on, it's just like trying to find a source to pull that air from because it gets too tight in here. So it's just something to keep in mind. But I would say moisture needs to be top of mind, and how you can control that. If you're in a warm climate, I don't think that's a problem. It's just us cold folk climate people. And while we're touching on being in a cold climate, we decided to build all of our plumbing inside the walls of the house. Built the house with 2x4 framing, so the walls aren't as thick as someone who would have done it with a 2x6. So we didn't want to take a risk with having plumbing in the walls, especially when we get to such negative temperatures here. Like, we can't run that risk. So running the plumbing inside the house was the best option. And we did this like decorative copper line where you can see it, and then everything else behind is like PEX. A massive foodie, so the kitchen was extremely important to me. You'll probably have a spot in your house that's more important to you based on what your needs are, but for me, I love cooking and food, all things food. Needed lots of storage, and I wanted a bigger fridge. We ended up getting this LG fridge. It's 24 inches wide, but it's like extra tall. And I don't know how tall it is, but I'm 5'2", and it's that. I fucking love this fridge. I always have it packed. And just like storage. This is where the cat hangs out and does her business. Wickedly huge. Like I said, I love food. This is one of my favorite things. That's just pretty dope. We had a friend who came in and helped us with all the millwork. And we just did it as cheap as we could, and he just used this pre-finished birch, and this has been edged. Basically just bought a bunch of sheets of this, like it comes in the same size as plywood, and that's what we used to make the cabinetry. It was worth putting money into having consistent millwork in the house, I would say, because if you don't feel comfortable in your house and you don't feel like you want to spend time there, I don't think that you'll live in it as long. And we've been in here for 3 years now. And I come into this space, or I wake up in this space, and I just feel at home. So I think that's really important. Like it. Do it the way you like it. Finding a couch was actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. We ended up getting this one from Ashley's Furniture. It's like a chaise. But we needed that because this is our front door when you come in. I didn't want like an awkward arm there. I want to just be able to sit there if I want to sit there and take my shoes off. So potentially, if you find the right kind of furniture that you want, you could design the certain spaces of your house around those pieces. And even after 3 years, we still haven't figured out the table we want, so we have this like sort of thing. It's working, but it's it's not what we would want in here ideally. It doesn't fit the vibe. It just happens. These little doom spots. It just happens. Embrace it. Like these, we actually designed them so that these crates would fit because we thought those were kind of cool. Within here, we just made sure that the sizing was right so that the crates would fit in. The tiny house is your oyster. Take us back into the bathroom and talk about a couple of things in here. Firstly, I love this toilet. I've researched all the different kinds of composting toilets that are out there, and if you're going to go with sort of like the classic separation urine diverter bucket style toilet. This is it. It has a little fan that plugs in, that pushes the air outside, so there's literally no smell. It's actually so awesome that if you take a number 2 in here, like a normal bathroom in a house, you would get a smell in the room. But in here, you don't, because it just immediately pulls that smell outside. Now, you don't want to be standing out there when I'm going to the bathroom, but in here, super comfy. Unless you're trying to make, like, pancakes while I don't know. Okay, back to the bathroom. Yeah, separate. That's the toilet you should get if you're going to do the composting toilet thing. Next is our tub. We don't use our tub. I've touched on moisture. We've just stayed away from it. It's all, like, good to go. We have water source and everything, but we just don't shower in here. I just go to the gym. I'd rather not mess with the moisture levels. And then in the summertime, we actually shower outdoors mostly because that's our preference. We just don't use that, honestly. I wish that I would have just built, like, cabinets in here and just said, screw it to the shower. If you don't have access to, like, showers outside of your home, then, and you don't want to be, like, hassled with that, don't worry about it. For me, it's just not a problem. But I do like what we've done. It just holds our clothes. Oh, speaking of clothes, our bathroom is way bigger than most tiny house bathrooms, and that is because we have all of our clothes storage in here. We did not think that getting dressed in the loft was going to be practical, so we don't store our clothes up there. They are down here in these pullouts and in these tubs. You cannot get changed in the loft. It's just, like, too small. So you do it down here. We made it big because there's 2 of us who live in here. So we both want to be able to change at the same time, brush our teeth at the same time. We needed a bigger bathroom. I've seen these tiny house bathrooms that are just, like, so small. And I just didn't really want that. So this video is long, but I just wanted to touch on all of these points and not break it up into a bunch of small videos. So the last thing I'm going to touch on is utilities. So we are not off-grid. We have 50 amp power source, and we are connected to a hose, and we also use propane for heating the stove and also for heating our water. We have electric heat. We have 2 of these heaters and then, like, a faux fireplace. This thing is the coolest freaking thing, and we love it. This is called Effigy. I got this on Amazon, and it basically connects to your box, like your power box out there, and it tracks how much energy you're using. And because we have to pay for our utilities and we're, like, kind of plugged into a source, we can't, like, tell how much we're using opposed to the house that's on the property. We track this so that we can pay for them. As you can see right now, like, we're using $6 a day. That's really expensive, but I just have all of the heat running right now. I would say on average, like, in the winter, we're probably paying about $80 a month in our electric bill. And then in the summer, it's like, until I have to run the AC, it's like maybe $5 a month. And then when I'm running the AC, maybe it's like 30. I would just take you out here so you could see the utility box. So this is our propane. And then this is where we keep all of our, that's our instant hot water, our panel. That's the Effigy tracker right there. We just keep a light bulb running in here, and that is warming up. This is where our water comes into the house. We have heat tape around that, and that's, like, all the water situation. There's a pressure regulator there. If you have more specific questions about, like, utilities and stuff, like, feel free to ask. One other thing we have, because we're not minimalists, is this. We have a steel box. And that's where we keep all of our outdoor gear and all of my gardening stuff and all of just any extra seasonal clothes and all that sort of stuff. I really didn't think this video would be 10 minutes long. I thought it would be 5, but here we are using the full 10 minutes. So I hope that was helpful. And there you go. Have fun. And congratulations. One of us. One of us. Seriously stoked for you though, man.